Elon Musk has everyone talking again after teasing the Tesla Model 2, a so-called affordable EV that's supposed to cost around 25 grand and hit the market in 2026. The headlines were immediate. Finally here. The car that's going to change the industry forever. It all sounds huge, right? But here's the thing. If you've followed Elon or Tesla for a while, you already know. Not every promise pans out, and timelines almost never stick. Some of Tesla's biggest announcements have been delayed for years, and a few still haven't shown up at all. So the real question is this. Is the Model 2 actually coming in 2026? Or is this just another hype cycle to keep investors happy and the media buzzing? In this video, we're breaking down why you probably shouldn't buy into the hype just yet. We'll look at Tesla's track record of delays, the real challenges of building a $25,000 EV, the competition already eating up the affordable market, and the possibility that the Model 2 is more about PR than production. Stick around. By the end, you might see this dream car in a whole new light. Number 1. The context and Musk's promises. So, let's back up for a second and really look at why the Tesla Model 2 announcement created such a massive buzz. On the surface, it sounds simple. Elon Musk promised a $25,000 Tesla by 2026. But underneath that headline is a much bigger story about the way Tesla markets itself, the expectations around the EV industry, and Musk's ability to keep people hooked on the idea of a better future. Right now, Tesla's lineup isn't exactly cheap. Even the so-called entry-level Model 3 still starts above $35,000 in the US, and that's before options, fees, and taxes. For many Americans, that's still way out of reach. And let's be honest, while Tesla has built an incredible brand, the dream of making EVs accessible to the everyday driver hasn't fully come true yet. That's where the Model 2 comes in. The promise of a $25,000 Tesla strikes at the heart of the company's original mission, building a truly mass-market car that accelerates the transition to sustainable energy. Imagine a Tesla priced like a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla. Suddenly, it's not just tech enthusiasts or upper-middle-class buyers behind the wheel. It's students, young families, commuters, ordinary people driving Teslas to work, to school, to the grocery store. That vision is powerful, and Musk knows exactly how to sell it. Here's the thing, though. This isn't the first time we've heard this story. Musk has been dangling the idea of a cheap Tesla for years. As far back as 2018, he was already saying that within about 3 years, Tesla could deliver a truly affordable EV. But those 3 years came and went. Instead of a Model 2, what we got were more luxury trims of the Model 3 and Model Y, the long-delayed Cybertruck, and more talk about robotaxis and full self-driving software that still hasn't lived up to the hype. And now, we're told to wait until 2026, which, let's be honest, could easily slip into 2027, 2028, or beyond. Yet every time he makes an announcement like this, the cycle repeats. The media runs wild with headlines. Investors get excited. Tesla's stock often enjoys a bump. Fans flood social media with speculation and concept designs. It's almost like a ritual at this point. Musk drops a tantalizing promise, and the world reacts as if it's already real. To be fair, the idea of a mass-market Tesla does line up perfectly with Musk's larger narrative. From day one, he's framed Tesla not just as a car company, but as a mission-driven organization, accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. And nothing would reinforce that mission more than building an EV that anyone could afford. On paper, it looks like the logical next step in Tesla's journey. But here's the catch. Promising something on paper is very different from actually delivering it in the real world. Tesla's history shows that bold announcements and ambitious timelines don't always match reality. And when it comes to the Model 2, the gap between the dream Musk is selling and the product Tesla can realistically deliver may be wider than ever before. Number 2. Tesla's track record of delays. Here's where things get interesting. Because if we want to figure out whether the Tesla Model 2 will actually arrive in 2026, we need to look back at Tesla's track record. And let's be honest, when it comes to timelines, Tesla doesn't exactly have the best reputation. Take the Tesla Roadster 2.0, for example. Back in 2017, Musk unveiled the second-generation Roadster with jaw-dropping specs. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds, over 600 miles of range, and a price tag that made people's eyes pop. The original promise? It would hit the streets by 2020. Well, here we are in the middle of the decade, and the Roadster is still nowhere to be found. Every year, Musk pushes the release back further. Now, people joke that the Roadster might just live forever as a concept car on Tesla's website. Then there's the Cybertruck. When it was first shown in late 2019, Musk confidently stated production would start in 2021. The angular stainless steel pickup quickly became one of the most polarizing designs in automotive history. Fans placed hundreds of thousands of pre-orders. But instead of seeing Cybertrucks rolling around by 2021, customers had to wait until late 2023 to see just a handful of units delivered. And even today, the rollout is extremely limited. Most reservation holders are still waiting, some with no clear timeline in sight. And let's not forget the Tesla Semi. That one was unveiled in 2017 with claims it would revolutionize trucking. Production was supposed to start in 2019. But once again, delays piled up. It wasn't until late 2022, a full 5 years after the announcement, that PepsiCo got the first few units. For most customers, the Tesla Semi remains more of a PR talking point than a practical product on the road. Probably the most infamous example, though, is full self-driving. Musk has been saying since at least 2018 that Teslas would soon drive themselves. Next year, he often claimed. Fast forward to today, and we're still not there. Yes, Tesla has made progress with autopilot and FSD beta, but the cars aren't close to being truly autonomous. Musk once promised that a Tesla could drive itself cross-country without human input. That was supposed to happen by the end of 2017. It's 2025, and we're still waiting. The pattern is crystal clear. Musk loves to set bold deadlines. They grab headlines, they keep investors optimistic, and they fire up the fan base. But reality almost always moves slower. Sometimes the delays are just a year or two. Other times, projects drag on for 5, 6, even 7 years longer than promised. Now, none of this means Tesla can't eventually deliver. The company does have a track record of making the impossible happen, just later than anyone expected. The Model S really did change the game. The Model 3 became one of the world's best-selling EVs. And despite all the delays, the Cybertruck is finally on the road, love it or hate it. But the takeaway is simple. If history is any guide, we should be very skeptical about the Model 2 showing up in 2026. Because based on Tesla's past, 2026 could easily mean 2028, 2029, or maybe even longer. The timeline is more of a marketing tool than a guarantee. And that's exactly why so many analysts and skeptics roll their eyes when Musk throws out new dates. They've seen this movie before. They know the script. Big announcement, big hype, years of waiting, and then maybe a product at the end of the tunnel. So when we hear Tesla Model 2 coming 2026, we have to ask, is this really a promise? Or just the latest chapter in Tesla's long history of overpromising and under-delivering on timelines? Number 3. The reality of building a $25,000 EV. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is it even realistic for Tesla to build a $25,000 electric car in the first place? Because while the idea sounds amazing on paper, the reality of actually pulling it off is a lot more complicated. First off, the battery problem. Batteries are the single most expensive component in an electric vehicle. For a car to sell at 25 grand, Tesla would need to slash battery costs dramatically. Over the years, Musk has talked about innovations like the 4680 cell, a new battery design that's supposed to reduce costs, improve efficiency, and speed up production. But here's the issue. Mass producing those 4680 cells has proven far harder than expected. Even now, Tesla is still struggling to hit its own targets for output. Without cheap, high-volume battery production, a budget Tesla just doesn't add up. Then there's the supply chain challenge. Building any EV requires not just lithium, but nickel, cobalt, graphite, and a dozen other critical materials. And the prices for those raw materials are volatile. In recent years, lithium prices have skyrocketed, sometimes doubling or tripling in a matter of months. Unless Tesla locks in stable supply contracts at affordable rates, keeping the price tag at $25,000 will be nearly impossible. We also have to consider the trade-offs. To hit that price point, Tesla would almost certainly need to make compromises. A smaller battery pack, which means less range, maybe 200 miles instead of 300 or more. Fewer high-end features like premium interiors, advanced sound systems, or top-tier driver assist hardware. Simpler materials and stripped-down designs to keep manufacturing costs low. But here's the catch. Tesla isn't just competing with itself. It's competing with brands like Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai, companies that have decades of experience building affordable cars efficiently. If Tesla releases a cheap car that feels too bare bones, consumers might just shrug and say, why not stick with a Corolla? There's also the profit margin problem. Tesla has built its success on relatively high-margin vehicles, like the Model Y and Model 3, which sell for $40,000 to $60,000. A $25,000 car would eat into those margins dramatically. And Tesla, as much as it talks about saving the planet, is still a business. Shareholders expect strong profits, so the question becomes, is Tesla really willing to sacrifice margins just to hit a symbolic price point? Another hurdle: manufacturing scale. Producing an affordable EV at high volume requires not just one factory, but multiple massive facilities pumping out cars around the clock. Tesla has made huge progress with gigafactories in Nevada, Texas, Berlin, and Shanghai, but even those are stretched to capacity. To make the Model 2 a reality, Tesla would need to either expand existing plants or build entirely new ones, both of which take years and billions of dollars. And let's not forget about regulations. A cheaper Tesla would still need to meet safety standards in multiple markets, pass crash tests, and qualify for government incentives. Cutting costs without cutting corners on safety is a tough balance to strike. So, when Musk stands on stage and says, yes, we'll build a $25,000 car by 2026, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement. But when you start digging into the details, batteries, supply chains, margins, factories, the picture looks a lot more complicated. The truth is, building a budget-friendly EV isn't just a matter of wanting it badly enough. It's about economics, logistics, and engineering, all lining up at the same time. And if Tesla struggles in any one of those areas, the Model 2 could either miss its price target, get delayed, or arrive as a watered-down product that doesn't live up to the hype. In other words, the dream of a $25,000 Tesla sounds amazing. But turning that dream into reality? That's going to be one of the toughest challenges Tesla has ever faced. Number 5. Market pressure and competitors. Here's the part that Tesla fans don't always like to talk about. While Tesla is busy hyping up the Model 2 for 2026, other automakers aren't just sitting around waiting. The affordable EV space is already heating up, and in some parts of the world, Tesla is already behind. Let's start with China, the biggest EV market on the planet. Companies like BYD have been pumping out affordable electric cars for years now. Some of their models sell for under $20,000, and that's without heavy subsidies. BYD is now selling more EVs globally than Tesla, and their growth curve is staggering. They don't just build cheap cars, they build them at scale, with a proven supply chain that Tesla is still trying to match. Then you've got other Chinese players like XPeng, NIO, and even startups like Leapmotor, all fighting for the budget EV segment. In China, you can walk into a dealership today and drive out with a brand new electric car for a fraction of what a Tesla costs. It may not have the same brand prestige, but for millions of everyday drivers, price matters more than hype. And it's not just China. Europe is also catching up fast. Volkswagen, Renault, and Stellantis have been rolling out smaller, more affordable EVs aimed at the mass market. Models like the VW ID.2 are designed to compete directly in that under $30,000 price bracket. European governments are also pushing hard with incentives and regulations to speed up adoption, which puts even more pressure on Tesla to deliver something competitive in that range. In the United States, the competition is different, but still real. Brands like Hyundai and Kia are aggressively moving into the EV space with cars like the Ioniq 5 and EV6. While these aren't under $25,000 yet, they've shown that non-Tesla EVs can be stylish, reliable, and packed with features. And let's not forget GM and Ford. GM has already experimented with cheaper EVs through the Chevy Bolt, which at times dropped under $30,000 with incentives. Ford, meanwhile, is doubling down on electrifying its popular models, which could eventually push prices lower too. The point is, Tesla no longer has the EV market to itself. Back in 2012, when the Model S launched, Tesla was the only serious player in the electric space. Fast forward to today, and every major automaker is racing to electrify their lineups. By the time 2026 rolls around, the affordable EV market may already be crowded with options. If Tesla is late, which, let's be honest, is a real possibility, the Model 2 might arrive to find that the market has moved on. There's also the issue of consumer expectations. Buyers who want an affordable EV today aren't going to wait around 4 or 5 years just for Tesla. They're going to buy what's available. And once they're locked into another brand's ecosystem, whether that's BYD, Hyundai, or VW, it's going to be harder for Tesla to win them back later. So while Musk is busy selling the dream of a $25,000 Tesla in 2026, his competitors are busy selling actual cars right now. And that's the kind of market pressure that can't be ignored. For Tesla, the risk is simple. By the time the Model 2 finally arrives, it may not feel revolutionary. It may just feel late. Number 6, PR move or reality? At this point, we've got to ask the big question. Is the Tesla Model 2 really a product that's on the way, or is it just another piece of classic Elon Musk PR? Because if you've followed Tesla for a while, you know Musk has a long history of using big announcements to keep attention on the company, whether or not the product is anywhere close to being finished. Think about how many times we've seen this play out. The Roadster 2.0 announcement in 2017 wasn't just about a car. It was a media spectacle. The specs sounded like science fiction, and suddenly, Tesla was back in the headlines worldwide. The same thing happened with the Cybertruck. The stainless steel, the wild design, the shattered armor glass demo. It was a show. Whether or not the truck was actually ready didn't matter. What mattered was that everyone was talking about Tesla again. That's the thing about Musk. He's not just the CEO of a car company. He's a master showman. He knows how to craft a narrative that keeps Tesla at the center of attention. Announcing a $25,000 Tesla does exactly that. It feeds the dream of making EVs mainstream. It excites investors who want to believe Tesla still has huge growth ahead, and it keeps Tesla in the spotlight, even as competitors catch up in the real world. There's also the financial angle. Every time Musk makes a splashy announcement, Tesla's stock price often reacts. Investors pile in, betting on future growth. That bump in market value gives Tesla more room to raise capital, fund projects, or simply keep Wall Street on its side. In other words, the hype itself has value, even if the car doesn't arrive on time. Now, let's be fair. This doesn't mean the Model 2 is fake or that Tesla has no plans to build it. It's very possible that work is happening behind the scenes. Engineers testing prototypes, teams figuring out how to hit that magic price point. But it's equally possible that Musk announced it years before it's anywhere close to reality, just to keep the narrative going. And remember, this strategy isn't unique to Tesla. Tech companies do it all the time. Apple teases future products. SpaceX talks about Mars missions decades before they're possible. The difference is, Tesla's announcements often get treated like imminent reality instead of what they really are: long-term goals with no guarantees. So, when we hear Tesla Model 2 is coming in 2026, we need to ask ourselves, is that a concrete timeline backed by real progress, or is it another hype cycle designed to buy time, attract investment, and keep the spotlight firmly on Tesla? The answer probably lies somewhere in the middle. Yes, Tesla likely wants to build the Model 2. Yes, it might even be in development. But when Musk stands on stage and drops a headline-grabbing promise, it's worth remembering that for him, the story is just as important as the product. The announcement itself is part of the strategy. And that's why so many critics argue the Model 2 is, at least for now, more of a PR move than a guaranteed reality. Number 7. What do consumers actually need? Here's the thing. While Elon Musk and Tesla hype up the idea of a $25,000 Model 2, we should stop and ask, what do consumers really want from an affordable EV? Because if Tesla doesn't understand this part, no amount of flashy announcements will save the car. For most buyers in the budget market, it's not about wild acceleration, futuristic design, or even having the Tesla logo. What they need is something practical. A car that can reliably get them to work and back, handle daily errands, and not break the bank when it comes to charging or maintenance. That means range matters, but it doesn't have to be insane. Most Americans drive less than 40 miles a day, so a realistic range of around 250 miles would be more than enough for the majority of drivers, especially if charging networks are convenient. Anything less than that, though, and people start worrying about being stranded. Next up is charging access. One of Tesla's biggest advantages is its supercharger network. But here's the catch. If the Model 2 is aimed at everyday drivers who might not own a home charger, Tesla has to make sure charging is truly affordable and widely available. The promise of low running costs only works if you don't have to fight for a charger every other day. Then there's price honesty. Consumers in this segment are tired of starting at numbers that balloon once you add basic features. If Tesla markets a $25,000 EV, people will expect it to actually feel like a complete car at that price, not a stripped-down shell that only makes sense once you tack on thousands in extras. Practicality also plays a role. Families in particular want space, safety, and reliability. If the Model 2 ends up too small, too cramped, or too focused on being cool rather than useful, it risks missing the very audience it's supposed to serve. And let's not forget competition psychology. Consumers aren't comparing Tesla against Tesla. They're comparing Tesla against BYD, VW, Hyundai, and even used gas cars. If the Model 2 doesn't deliver real-world value, it won't matter how sleek the design is, people will just buy something else. At the end of the day, consumers don't care about Musk's timelines or Wall Street hype. They care about whether this so-called affordable Tesla actually solves their problems. Can they afford it? Can they charge it easily? Will it last? If the answer to those questions isn't a clear yes, then the Model 2 risks being more of a marketing headline than a real solution. Number 8. The verdict and looking ahead. So, where does all of this leave us with the Tesla Model 2? On paper, it's the most exciting Tesla idea since the original Model 3. A truly affordable EV, priced at $25,000, would change the game. Not just for Tesla, but for the entire auto industry. It would open the doors for millions of new buyers, speed up the transition to electric mobility, and cement Tesla's place in history as the company that actually made EVs mainstream. But here's the reality. History tells us that with Tesla, timelines are slippery, costs are unpredictable, and hype doesn't always equal delivery. The Roadster 2.0 is still missing. The Cybertruck arrived years late and massively different from what was first promised. Even the affordable Model 3 ended up being thousands more expensive than originally pitched. That doesn't mean the Model 2 won't ever exist. It might eventually. Tesla has the engineering talent, the brand loyalty, and the charging infrastructure to make it happen, if they can crack the cost barrier, especially with innovations like new battery chemistries or simplified manufacturing. The Model 2 could absolutely become reality. But could is not the same as will. Meanwhile, the world isn't waiting. BYD, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Kia, and dozens of others are pushing affordable EVs onto the streets today. By the time 2026 rolls around, the landscape might look completely different. Tesla could either be the leader that finally makes EVs truly affordable, or the brand that arrives too late to its own revolution. So the verdict? The Tesla Model 2 is still more of a promise than a product. It's an idea meant to inspire, excite, and keep Tesla at the center of conversation. But for consumers, the real question isn't when will it come out? It's, will it actually deliver what we need when it finally gets here? Looking ahead, Tesla has two choices. Either it doubles down, solves the hard problems, and delivers the Model 2 in a way that truly reshapes the market, or it risks becoming just another company making promises it can't keep. The dream is alive. The question is whether Tesla can turn that dream into reality before someone else beats them to it. Wrapping it all up at the end of the day, the Tesla Model 2 is more than just a car. It's a symbol of Tesla's promise to make electric vehicles accessible for everyone, and a symbol of Elon Musk's talent for painting a bold picture of the future. But whether that picture ever turns into something you can actually drive off the lot, well, that's still up in the air. If Tesla pulls it off, the Model 2 could be remembered as the car that finally brought EVs to the masses. If they don't, it could end up as just another entry on the long list of promises that never fully materialized. Either way, one thing's for sure. The pressure is on like never before. So what do you think? Is the Model 2 the future of affordable EVs, or just another PR stunt to keep Tesla in the spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our tech-driven world. Until next time, thanks for watching. And let's see if 2026 really is the year the people's Tesla finally arrives.